being here with you. Unfortunately, our time does eventually have to come to an end, although I wouldn't mind doing this just about every day because it is so powerful and it is so amazing to see the transformations that happen for you. And it's awesome to see the responses from everyone. And I tend to sort of get attached, and I love you guys. It's really, really great to see how impactful this can be when it opens eyes and it changes lives. So just know that I am sending you all my love. You are deeply, deeply loved and held by the divine, and you are never, ever alone. I like to say welcome to the family when you are here, because once we connect, there is no or untangling our silver cords, if you will, that we are part of the same soul family. There is no coincidence. You are here for a reason. And so I will always be here for you. I am a real human being. So please reach out and let me know how I can assist and be there for you in any way. So just know that, again, you are never alone. And I do Monday Magic Intuitive Energy readings on my YouTube channel for this exact reason, because everything that you're going through is also being felt by the collective in many ways. And it was really fun to just start doing these, through divine guidance and inspired inspiration, to get that message to start to produce these Monday Magic Intuitive Energy readings. And lo and behold, I was not the only one. And the other thing was, as I started coaching people, you start to see that the same patterns are playing out, that when most of us are experiencing a good week, many are. And when many of us are having a hard week, many are as well. And so we are not alone. We are all in this together. And it is so common for someone who's experienced complex trauma to feel like it's just me. What's wrong with me? I'm the only one that feels this way. We can feel so isolated. Isolation is one of the top trauma responses. And we want to pull you and ourselves, we want to pull ourselves and others, our collective soul family, out of isolation and hermit mode. Know that it is time to purge, that there is a lot of death and rebirth happening all across the planet right now. And again, we are all in this together. We are all going through something similar. So again, I just want to remind you, reach out, let people know how you're feeling, talk about it, be vulnerable. And of course, that's difficult if we have not gone through the trauma healing processes yet. But the more we do, the more we heal, the more visible we can be, the more vulnerable we can be, the more we help each other, because we are all going through this and we can't escape it. The only way through it is to go into it so that we can come out on the other side. And so just know, as we go through these massive shifts and changes that are going to be happening and continuing to happen over the next couple of years, there's something beautiful on the other side of this. And through this, we can hold being the one, because we are part of the one, that we consistently can remember that we are valuable, that we are the most precious and favored creation, that you are perfectly imperfect for your purpose, right? And if you don't feel important to someone else, we get to hold that knowing for ourselves, even in the face of criticism, even in the face of rejection, because how someone behaves says everything about them and very little about me. And in fact, rejection is protection. Sometimes the divine will keep them from seeing your value and worth because they're not for you. So remember to know that this holding of this state of knowing and holding of being the one is so critically important, because as within, so without. Everything that we experience is emanating from our being. So remembering that those people are hurting, that's why they're behaving that way. They feel icky inside, and that's why they project that at you. Again, remember that a person's inability to recognize your value and worth says nothing about your value and worth, right? That's the inability for them to recognize. Right? This is why people say we have to have eyes to see and ears to hear. That the veil, the illusion is perception, is the mind. And that's their challenge. That's their task at hand to work through. It is not yours. You are not responsible for making other people happy. Also another trauma response. Okay, so remember, it's not about you. This is what it means to not take it personally. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. We have to remember the evidence of acceptance shows up when we least need it, right? What that means is that when we stop needing approval and validation, that's when we'll receive it. I had a client by the name of Corey. I actually did an interview with her for the YouTube channel. If you want to go check that out, it's Vibe Mentor at YouTube. She has an amazing story. And we spent almost over an hour talking. And unfortunately, we spent most of our time talking about our previous challenges and very little time talking about where her life has gone since then. And it continues to just blow up. And she is thriving like you would not believe. But in the beginning, she had that sneaky people pleasing and over giving trauma tendency. And when she first came to me, she was struggling with depression, anxiety, just a kind of feeling of blah. And she had her coping mechanisms like we all have to have. And she was dealing with social media addiction and some other things and wrestling with a narcissistic relationship, trying to extract herself from that. And of course, the lack mentality, never feeling enough, never having enough, never receiving enough support was a strong theme in her life, as it is for most of us who have unhealed complex trauma, right? She never really felt properly compensated or appreciated by her family, by her clients, by her job, by anyone in her life. And why? Of course, we can look at the root cause. Did we feel safe, seen, heard, cared for, and loved as a child? She did not. Her mother left her physically, abandoned her essentially, emotionally and physically, leaving her with her father, although her mom popped back in and out. Sometimes that's more traumatizing. And her father, who was emotionally unavailable, never really there for her, quickly got married. And so then the stepmom was expected to take care of Corey, but that bond wasn't there. And in fact, Corey's stepmom was triggered by her, which is, again, very common for many of us who are, heart-centered beings. And some people call themselves light workers or starseeds. It doesn't really matter. It's just, if you are a heart-centered being, you are here to start to adopt a new way of being. We are here to help bridge the gap from the old to the new. And we cannot be like everyone else. We have a tendency to trigger people because we are mirrors and reflections of the future, where we're going, the energy that we want, humanity wants to hold. And that has a tendency to trigger other people when they recognize that they're not in that space, or they're not realizing their full potential, or we somehow resemble something in them that they dislike, or something they wish they were that they know they're not. And so regardless, Corey's stepmom consistently put her down and accused her of things that she didn't do, horrible things that she did not do. And so Corey was stuck in that trap, as most of us are, if we have, childhood trauma, or, maybe it's a toxic relationship later in life, or even just the military. It creates this feeling of never enough. I'm not good enough, and there's never enough. And it's very amazing how these two go together. This is how we start to learn how to wield our manifestation abilities, is by recognizing this subconscious program of not enough. I'm not enough also leads to there not being enough abundance of love or joy or finances or wealth or health or fitness or whatever it is for you, right? So we were looking for people who were not capable of treating us right to show us that we were deserving. And Corey was doing the same. She had this propensity to try to prove that she had earned the love, or that she deserves the love. And the interesting or funnest part, I guess, if you will, is that our gifts and talents are suppressed because of this. And for Corey, she's extremely intuitive. She's a fantastic healer. She's beautiful with plants. They bloom and thrive. And her whole atrium or entryway is just covered in these gorgeous, healthy plants. She's working on herbal remedies. She makes tinctures every now and then. She is highly psychic. It's incredible. But yet those things were not nearly as powerful and as prominent as they are now. And if you check out the video on my YouTube channel, you see Corey has a YouTube channel. She's live every day. She's thriving in her business. But what was happening as we first started working together was she would self-sabotage. Most of us do. We have this yearning for a purpose, a desire to do something that matters, to help people in the world. And yet we've got that subconscious program that says it's not safe, like a glass ceiling that's going to keep us from moving towards the things that we want to do. And so she would right? The brain wants to trick you. It wants to say, see, you're moving towards your purpose. You're doing work. You're helping people. But it would constantly suggest the next shiny object. Well, let's pivot. Let's do this. Well, let's try this other thing. Let's try this other thing. And what that does is it slows you down and it keeps you stuck. It keeps you hidden. So the brain is kind of trying to let you feel like I've moved towards my purpose, but really you haven't. You're still at the starting point. Right. And so she would generate new ideas and dabble with it and then change her mind and then try it again, try something new. And it's that sneaky beast that wants to keep you safe that really is keeping you stuck, right? It doesn't want you to see that what you're doing is keeping you in this cycle of beginning, which means never really fully making progress. But it does mean that you're not risking vulnerability and rejection and being seen and having to put yourself out there, right? It believes it's keeping you safe, right? So finally, after we worked together for a year, and that's kind of the sweet spot, right around 6 months, you'll start to feel healed, but still not have that motivation to get over this, like I call it the speed bump of your life purpose, where we kind of just have to roll over the speed bump and then the momentum takes off right around that year mark. And so finally we were able to, point out, hey, here's this pattern. We worked on healing all of the trauma, relieving the trauma from her body. And now she is consistently putting herself out there over and over and over every day, going live, getting new clients daily. And it's all because she worked through that trauma and was able to stand tall, create boundaries, take her power back, ask more from her clients and her job. This was the craziest thing. She was in a job. And by the end of our year, she had been offered not one, but 2 raises and an option to work from home with a promotion that also included paid trips to South Carolina. And that was just her regular job, even though she had wanted to step into her own purpose, which is, coaching, healing, YouTube channel, tinctures, herbalism, all this stuff. And she, if you could see like how beautiful just the increase in her job is, she was able to walk away and say, thank you, no, thank you. I still would rather go into my purpose because everything else was also taking off and she had to choose. And so when the doors of abundance open, the flow is tremendous and you're not limited to one thing. It's kind of, I don't want to say all or nothing, but it tends to kind of be that way. When we're blocking ourselves, there's nothing. And yet when we open up to the flow of abundance, it just pours in, right? And my cup overflows, right? So not only was her business taking off so much, she also had these promotions. So she was able to choose her choice of abundance, and obviously her purpose won. But not only that, there was a lot of isolation in the beginning. She started to make friends with the community. There's a lot more connection and support in her life. She has a network of not just friends, but family. And she's even working towards healing with her father. So she literally is like a new person. And I hear my clients say that all the time. It's like, I feel like a new person, or I'm not sure who I am anymore. I personally kind of felt like a walking trauma response before I started healing. Others will say, I finally feel like I came home, because home is where the heart is, literally, physically within yourself, right? Another client said to me, I thought I would never accomplish anything in my life. How could I ever imagine the person that I have become? And it's so shocking to see how this happens for client after client after client, that we are never alone. So many of us feel the same feelings, have the same worries and the same fears, dealing with the same struggles on a day-to-day, and yet that wound of not enoughness keeps us hidden and stuck in hermit mode. And that fear of being too broken, or fear of being exposed, too vulnerable, that they see our weaknesses, is the very thing that, 1, keeps us stuck, but 2, fuels your purpose. It's a gift. It is not a hindrance. So we have to stop looking at the not enoughness. We want to understand that collectively there's a wound of not enoughness, a wound, a fear of brokenness, a fear of not being able to escape this and having to wear a mask, another common trauma response. It's a wound of looking to everyone else to heal our wounds. It's a wound of expecting the solution to come from outside of us. And we must know that we matter just as we are. And that's how we become an energetic match to the happiness and the freedom and the love and the respect that we seek. There's a reason that personal development is growing in popularity. It's becoming more and more popular every day. And that's because people are realizing that emotions matter. This isn't all there is. That yearning for something more is valid, that my needs are valid. My mental health matters. In fact, mind, body, soul alignment is required to manifest abundance. And so we have to understand all of these different factors to be able to drive in one direction like a powerful laser instead of this diffuse light bulb with all the different parts of us running all over the place, right? That beauty is within, and as within, so without. That is how we manifest. It's time to awaken to our power to choose, awaken to our power, period. That we have the ability to create a beautiful life. We have everything within us. I used to hate that phrase. You have everything you need within you. I'm like, what does that even mean? We have within us the ability to create a beautiful life the way it was meant to be. Depression and anxiety are on the rise, and they have been for over 20 years because there is a collective soul sickness. We are in a collective dark night of the soul. That urge, that unquenchable thirst for meaning and contribution, to do something that matters, to make a difference, to live out our purpose, is not going to let us alone. It's not going to ease up. It is driving us to get out of this mediocre life because this won't cut it anymore. Our soul will not let us alone. It won't leave us alone until we listen to the call. I think we have seen the evidence of this in our lives, and I think we're seeing the evidence of it collectively in our society today. So the question is, what do we do about it? Do I just quit my job tomorrow? One, I can't answer that for you. And two, I wouldn't suggest it. I would suggest baby steps. Create an exit strategy that starts with healing the nervous system. Start with the wounding, the trauma, those beliefs of what's wrong with me, I'm not enough, I can never do it right, there never will be enough, people are not safe, the world is not safe, the only safe place is isolation. Whatever your flavor of belief is, that's where we start. And I actually suggest building your business, stepping into your purpose in conjunction with trauma healing. Because as you do the work works on you. As you try to start this business, you will be triggered. And that's the opportunity to see the wound that needs to be healed. Triggers are gifts. They help us see the root cause, or find the root cause when we know how, to healing that trauma. So as you step into your business and you start to do the work, you get triggered, you go do the healing, you go do some more work, you get triggered, you do some more healing. And it's a beautiful give and take relationship that carries us forward. Instead of trying to drive and create a business and not understand, why am I feeling extra tired? Why do I feel like I have no energy? Why do I just want to nap every time I try to do something for my business? Why do I mull over this post and perfect it and perfect it and perfect it and then end up deleting it and never posting it? Why do I post for everybody else but not myself? These are trauma responses, and we don't even see that it's happening. So when we start to create an exit strategy, we set the intention, we made the statement, I am stepping into my purpose here and now. Life starts to conspire in your favor. It doesn't mean you have to go out and quit your job, but it does mean we need to start doing the work and start doing the healing to go with it. A little bit of work, a little bit of healing, a little business building, a little bit more healing, a little bit of vulnerability, a little bit of triggering, a little bit more healing, right? At the end of the day, you are the ultimate source of power and authority in your life. No one can tell you what is right for you. Nobody can sense and feel and know, depending on what your clair is, or hear the things that are being spoken or delivered to you. Only you know what is right for you. No one else can tell you what is right for you. Have you noticed that? That nobody, it's like we could try to articulate and explain why we feel the way we do, or why we want to do the things we want to do, but nobody is fully going to understand it or feel the resonance of truth in your body the way you do. So finding your life purpose takes time. It's a process of alchemy, and it's like making soup. And I apologize, that was supposed to be no commercials. So hold on just 1 second here. Where did that go? It promised me there was no commercials. My bad. There we go. All right. So how do we find our purpose, right? Finding your purpose takes time. It's like a process of alchemy. It's like making soup. This is my favorite analogy, right? We add a little bit of this, we add a little bit of that. Maybe we add a starch, we add some veggies, right? We taste it along the way. We see how it is. Maybe we let it sit overnight and marinate. Come back tomorrow, taste it again. Maybe it's a little too salty. Maybe we need a little bit more water, right? We need to allow this process to percolate. You will never find your purpose from just thinking about it. Clarity comes through action. We cannot be stagnant because our purpose is ever unfolding. And like I said, the more you do the work works on you. And we won't be given full insight into the 5-year roadmap or the major milestone checklist, although some of us higher achievers would like that. We sometimes will get moments of insight. Sometimes we'll have, a long-term vision that's given to us. We can see where we're going, but there's going to be levels of uncertainty. There's going to be levels of faith and surrender and commitment required, because that's just part of how the divine sharpens us, right? We develop the confidence through being the one. We develop the confidence through the process of alchemy, by continuing to keep our commitments to ourselves and taking one step forward every day. When we own our power, we realize no one has a power over us. No one has authority over us. Not a psychic, not a tarot reader, not an astrologer, not the cards. No matter what they say, at the end of the day, there is always infinite potential in how things can play out. And you are the one who's in power and authority over how things go. You get to decide. Yes, there is some level of divine timing, and I will always be a proponent of aligning to the divine will. It is very, very important to recognize, yes, we have power and authority in our life, but this is a co-creative relationship. There is a bigger blueprint for your life, and we will swim upstream if we are constantly in resistance to what the divine and life is bringing to us. But if we can learn to be in the flow of that and be the one within that, maintain our power and authority within the divine will, that's when magic happens. So know that you are the one wielding the power. Only you can be the decider. And that I'm saying only you relative to the rest of the human collective, right? Of course, the divine first, and then you, right? But we are asked to hold and to wield the power and authority that we have been given. We get to choose our beliefs. We get to choose our perception. We get to choose our limitations, right? Only you can see and sense where your resistance is. Only you can realign energetically. You've been given the gift of mirrors to show you your blocks, and they might feel prickly, kind of like a trigger. But the perspective that we choose in that moment is what can shift them into love, into expansion, into freedom, into abundance, into wealth and joy and love and peace and all the things. Those triggers are the very things that will help you realign to the energetics of your goal. And once you master the energetics of calibration, right? Alignment, aligning to your original design, putting down resistance, that's when you're going to see your path more clearly. That's when you will level up faster than you ever have been before. That's when your gifts are going to start to come online. That's when you become magnetic, unstoppable, unshakable confidence. You will know that you are cared for and your needs will be met every single step of the way. I can promise you that. Now, stepping into your purpose can take time. It's not going to support you financially right away. There's a lot of people out there that want to tell you you're going to make 10K months in a few months. It's very, very rare that happens. Bare minimum, you're looking at 18 months usually. Closer to 3 years is more common. People need to be aware of this, and people aren't talking about this. There's too many people out there advertising, trying to tell you that it's just going to be this quick fix. And yes, the day and age of TikTok 1 minute doom scrolling has strengthened that desire. But know that that's the dopamine, and that is, again, fully within your control. We can dig into that. We can understand that. We can learn to leverage the other happy hormones that also make you feel fulfilled, so that you can enjoy the journey and not lose sight of the progress that's being made. Again, I have to go back to, you will be supported every single step of the way. The divine will make sure you have the food, you have the shelter, you have the clothing, you have the money, you have the water, whatever it is. Think about this. The birds don't struggle for food, and the trees don't search for water. You are your creator's favorite creation, right? So long as you are energetically aligned to the divine through faith, trust, and surrender, you will be provided for. Taking divinely guided action is the key. We cannot, this is why I'm not a big proponent of quitting your job before you start in, is you cannot come from a lack energy. You cannot be in scarcity and manifest abundance. It's counterintuitive. So this is why we create the exit strategy by starting to work on the side hustle, by doing the healing work, surrendering to the will of the divine, and knowing that we will start to make money pretty quickly. Now, I want to clarify that. So earlier I said it can take time to support yourself financially. That doesn't mean you won't make money pretty quickly, within a few weeks or months, once, depending on the strategy that you employ. So this is also worth noting, shiny object syndrome. Everybody's out there talking about how their strategy works. Well, guess what? Most strategies work in the right energy, as long as you're not working with a scammer. The key is finding the thing that works for you. Is it your energetic alignment that is being pulled forth or called forward through this strategy? You have to make sure that you have that resonance of what is right for you. And of course, you'll be dealing with the voice of unworthiness that will try to convince you that you're not ready. But the truth is, no one is ever ready. And some willfully jump off the cliff and they build their parachute on the way down. And sometimes others take too long, even though they know that the universe has been pushing them. And unfortunately, the universe will eventually just shove you off the cliff, because we can't delay forever. So when you're getting that nudge but not taking action, that's the dangerous place to be. You want to be preparing, creating your exit strategy, doing the healing work, and know that you'll never be 100% ready. The right time is usually about 80% ready, right? And that is the beauty of being here and now, because you are being offered a proven strategy that will help you be successful and understand how to have that mind, body, soul alignment, so that you don't have the self-sabotage. You don't have that glass ceiling of the subconscious beliefs holding you back anymore. You don't have an overactive nervous system that causes you to feel fried and burnt out and overwhelmed, and fear of rejection and criticism, right? People pleasing, overgiving, self-sacrifice, all these trauma responses. That if you were to employ this strategy and you played full out, you were fully committed, and you do it the way that you know is right for you, you're listening and finding your alignment, you're creating a solid foundation. I can promise you, in 6 months or less, you could be stepping into your purpose. And it starts with setting the intention, right? And saying it out loud, right? Know that as you say that out loud, I am committed to stepping into my purpose, you have launched that rocket of desire. Buckle your seatbelt and know that things will fall away, but that just means that things are falling into place. You have to know that you cannot figure out your purpose from the level of the mind. This is a trap that we all get caught in, this monkey mind or hamster wheel of constantly trying to figure it out. The never-ending merry-go-round in your head will only create more separation, confusion, frustration, anxiety, and pain. It's like torturing yourself. Have you ever noticed, right? The brain tends to think a lot and very rarely comes up with viable solutions. And in fact, I don't know about you, but in my experience, every time I thought I came up with a solution, I ended up creating something that was more difficult and created more hardship for myself. And those times where I didn't, where I just let the divine bring it to me, are the times where something so beautiful and amazing literally was like just dropped in my lap. I never could have come up with it myself. I never could have created it myself. And it was more beautiful than I ever could have imagined. So yeah, people like Tony Robbins, they like to suggest taking massive action, burn all the boats, go all in. And that's fine too. If you feel called to that, if you feel so fed up that you just cannot tolerate anymore, that's fine. But know that if you have that unhealed trauma, the conditioning and the programming of the world today that says you're not enough, or, that imposter syndrome, who are you to do this thing? That's your little trauma demon sitting on your shoulder, barking or growling in your ear, right? It will always be there to tell you it's not safe, right? That glass ceiling of your safe space will come, and just know that that's okay, because those moments are a recognition. Now that you're aware, you can say, aha, I see that. Now I know that's what now I know that's why it's happening. My nervous system is overly sensitized to this trigger. I have to heal this wound. I have to look at where in my childhood did I not feel safe, seen, heard, cared for, and loved, right? What was the program that I received there? Know that that is your historic set point. But with the support, healing, and guidance, you will find the right energetic alignment. Time and time again, especially as you recommit to the path and invest in your healing, you will retrain your brain to work for you. The mind is a tool designed to receive direction, not to direct you, right? It is designed to be used by you. You are meant to be in control of it. It is not meant to drive. So there are exercises and processes that will help you identify old neural pathways and reprogram them to work for you. We also remove the glass ceiling of trauma through trauma spotting. This is the critical component, working with the nervous system, getting the trauma up and out of the body. Once you do that, your mental energy will flow in the direction of your dream almost effortlessly. You just remove those blocks, those dams that are holding things up. You don't have to push anymore. Your life force energy wants to flow in that direction as it is already on its own without effort, right? This is where you get to tap into that level of certainty and confidence that you have never experienced before. Confidence comes from competence, which means doing. That does not mean thinking. It means action. And we cannot expect to feel confident while sitting on the couch and avoiding action. We have to follow the guidance that we've been given without delay. Over time, we'll build this new muscle and create new neural pathways, not only for ourselves, but also for the world, because 100th monkey and all these other things, kids, relatives, family, friends, right? We are changing the world one ripple at a time. We are valuable. We deserve love and respect. Our thoughts are the source of our creation, and we have to believe these things. In the beginning was the Word. This is how creation starts. You look at spelling, we are casting spells with our words. Even those subconscious, subtle beliefs that we aren't speaking out loud, those are still vibrational beings that are rippling out. Everything you see on earth was created with the focused thought and spoken word. So are you ready to start creating with intention? Are you ready to finally live the life of your dreams? Are you ready to be done with the BS of these blocks? No more abundance blocks. Only manifesting abundance through our life purpose. So I promised you how to identify your purpose. The first step is healing, removing the blocks that keep it hidden from us, and remembering our value and worth, choosing to believe it, even if it feels untrue at the time. That as we choose to believe it, we continue to reinforce it because we know we are one with the divine. And that allows us to follow our guidance using our joy as our compass to take the next right step, right? Acting as soon as we receive the guidance and resting in full faith and trust that we are deeply cared for and loved. We will be guided to our purpose, and it is not up to us to figure out on our own. We are never alone. In fact, we can't, and we will even block it if we believe it is solely up to us. We have to surrender to the divine will. Just like the child's song, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Stop resisting the water. When we struggle, we drown. When we just lie on our backs, we float down the stream, right? So we've covered a lot over the last couple of days. I know there was a little bit of a hiccup on day one, so make sure you check out day one's video. Just search day one or day two and you will find them. They are there. I made sure of it. But in those videos, in case you missed them, I'll recap real quickly here before we jump into a couple more stories before I wrap up for today. But We remember that we are the one. We are one with the one. We are the one who is capable of creating the change we want to see. When we realize we are one with the divine, we cannot be separated from our creator. He, she, it, they, them is intertwined in every fabric of our being. And so when we start to use our voice to state, I am the one, then we get to let go of our fears. We can see the lies of the ego. We can refuse to believe in separation. We can awaken to the beauty and the fun that is life as it was meant to be. We can remember that the world is our oyster. We know there is no one on earth that can do the thing that we were built to do. We can learn to be loved, to receive love, to give love, even in our perfectly imperfect state, because we are perfect for our purpose just as we are. We also located the missing parts of us. We reintegrated them lovingly and embraced the lost parts of us. We called back our wholeness so that we can become whole again. It's not too late if you didn't get a chance to claim that free meditation. There was a freebie for every day, so make sure you watch day 1, day 2, and of course there'll be one at the end of day 3 here today as well. But there's homework for each of those, so if you do the homework and you post it in the group, I will send you a link to each of the freebies, so definitely make sure to check those out. But this is what helps us to realize our power and our worth. This is how we become unshakable. This is how we recognize our current frequency and know that our frequency is what's creating our future. What we see right now is an echo of the past. And if we recognize that I am the one to shift this right here and now, when unified with divine will, that's where we can recalibrate and find our alignment to our original design. And that eases everything. It is not difficult anymore. We also remember that we're not meant to do this alone, that we are built for connection. Isolation and hermit mode is not what we were built for. The world is there for our reflection, to be our mirror, to help us see where we need to heal, so we can finally see a better way, and it will point us to a better day. We remember that life is a gift and it is happening for us, not to us. And that recalibration is happening in every single moment, in the micro moments. We shine light on the thoughts of limitation. We catch the beliefs of lack. We observe the presumptions of not liking what we see in the mirror before we even look, right? We choose to break the cycle of going it alone. We choose to see the beauty in others. We choose to connect and to collaborate the way we were built to. We allow ourselves to fall in love with each other, with ourselves, with a mentor, someone who's done what you want to do so that you can feel like home and come home to yourself in their space holding for you. That is when you become unstoppable. There are no brownie points for doing it alone. This is the belief that keeps you stuck, and it sets you up for failure. It reinforces this question of what if I'm not enough? Because alone you can't do it. We are meant to do it together with the divine. This is how we break the cycle of brokenness. In order to heal this collective wound, we have to embrace our own value and worth and choose to know that we are worthy, therein giving permission to others to do the same. This is how we shine our light. We have to be seen and offer the grace to others and to ourselves through our presence, through our connection, no longer fearing being seen, and for once, actually having the chance to receive the love and respect that we desire and deeply need. That's when we step into the certainty of I am the one. We step into the knowing of I am the decider. We remember I choose. We become the one to heal. We become the one to lead. We become the one to be led. We decide to own our power, and we decide to recalibrate, realign, and believe that we have the ability to choose to rewrite our story. We choose to reclaim the lost parts of ourselves, and we choose to connect with others. This is how we empower them to be the one, to be the decider, to make the choice, to choose to reclaim their dreams because they see us claiming ours. This is how we build heaven on earth. there is a certain level of self-honesty that's required here. The brain wants to trick you. It will not assist you in your desire for change. It thinks that safety is familiarity, as we know. Until you train that brain to work for you, it will tell you all sorts of stories, all sorts of lies about how to stay safe. That is the opposite of change. So remember to give that voice a name. Liar Larry, whatever you want to call it, right? I like to call mine the trauma demon. Just remember, change feels uncomfortable. So let's make friends with discomfort, and let's start to see discomfort as indication that we are on the right track, right? Until you reframe the definition of uncomfortable. If you're feeling comfortable and safe, then you want to question it. We can fear change, or we can adapt to it. We can see discomfort with new eyes, and we can find a new perspective, tell ourselves a new story, hack the neurochemistry that will make you feel uncomfortable. We can do all of this consciously. We know how the brain and body works now. We can create the feelings that we want through our thoughts, through our intentions. We can learn how to make the brain work for us. Notice the story that you have chosen to tell yourself. Notice the meanings that you assign to things. Notice that it is a choice to tell a new story. And remember, you cannot hold the energy of fear and love at the same time. Love is the key. Loving yourself as you are, loving the others that you encounter, loving what is, loving what's coming, loving the divine, right? This is how we embrace our abundance. This is how we connect to our self-worth and build this belief in our worthiness. So are you ready? Are you ready to let go of the remnants of these old beliefs, this old life, these old blocks that hold you back? Because letting go of these things is the key, right? Nature abhors a vacuum. It means we have to clear out the space so that the divine can rush in to fill what is left, right? So let's get familiar with what you're holding on to. Let's spend a little time with that. What stories and beliefs are limiting you? What is the meaning that you have assigned that creates resistance within you? For me, the subconscious belief that I operated on was that I was bad. That was just the phrase that my father inadvertently or intentionally conveyed to us, right? For my client Corey, like I mentioned, it was her unworthiness as a dependent and having to look to others for acceptance or approval. For another client, it was that she didn't measure up to others, and that meant that she would never accomplish anything. For another client, it was safety. People in the world are not safe. And so the only option was to remain tucked away in her normal life, right? Safe life, right? The desire to be normal and feeling abnormal is so common in our collective soul family. It's unbelievable. When we harbor these beliefs that are hidden in our subconscious, we might be doing some things that are not particularly beneficial, and yet they help us cope, right? Some of us will binge on YouTube videos seeking more knowledge, but never actually taking action on what is learned. And rarely do we spend an equal amount of time working on our purpose or building our business, right? Maybe you scroll for hours on Facebook and repost everyone else's content and then kick yourself later for not using that time to build your own brand. Maybe you have this crippling fear of posting your own content and saying things that are actually on your mind for fear of how viewers might respond, because someone somewhere taught you it's not safe to be yourself and it's too risky to speak your mind, or maybe even to just be vulnerable, right? Maybe you get frustrated with the lack of progress and you try to force yourself with willpower to go live or post every day, but then you just fall back into feeling paralyzed and triggered by fear, rejection, and criticism. Maybe you perpetually spend your days in meditation, rest, and recuperation, but never move past the healing phase. So we have to ask for guidance. We know that's the right thing to do, but when we're in that stuck place, the guidance can seem less than helpful, right? Maybe you ask for guidance, but all you ever hear is, you have everything you need within you, right? That used to be so frustrating for me because I was like, I don't understand, just tell me what to do, right? We are being asked through that statement to take our power back. That if we're always given the next right step, then we become dependent. We are being asked to take our power back. So you have to ask yourself, are you really ready to break free? Are you really ready? Are you fed up? Are you done with this stuck place in your life? Are you done with what you have been holding on to? What is holding you back? These beliefs and stories that you tell yourself about unworthiness or lack of safety or the world not being safe. Are you ready to let go? There's so many things that we hold on to that we can't see, and they hide. This is the hard part. They hide in our blind spot, right? That's why we have to have those mirrors. These patterns are so habitual that we don't even see that we're doing them. It makes me think of the show Hoarders. There was a woman, she lived in this house, same house, for 30 years. She had raised her kids there. Kids were long gone. They had gone off to college, but she had stopped throwing things away. And I think it was, if I recall correctly, around the time that the kids left home, that was very hard for her. And she just didn't really want to live her life. She really didn't have any reason to go upstairs or to take care of the house anymore. The house became full of garbage and trash, if you will. I mean, all the way up to like these mountaintops up to the ceilings with these little narrow pathways in between. And when the intervention team for the show arrived, they couldn't even get in the front door. They had to go around through the back door and squeeze in and walk through this narrow pathway. And between the mountains of trash, they found this woman, and she was sitting on an old dirty mattress on the floor, and there were no sheets and just a tattered blanket and a bare pillow. And when they sat down next to her, she squirmed uncomfortably. She had clearly not had anyone in the house or been around people in a long time. And the man who sat next to her, he picked up a popsicle stick and he asked her, can I throw this away? And she said no. She became very emotional. She was very upset. She said, that's my son's popsicle stick. And so, to her, all of this garbage was sentimental. It meant something. She was holding onto something. She could not let that go. And she couldn't see how it was holding her back. She couldn't see the energetic tax that these mountains of old remnants were pulling on her body, taxing her body. It takes so much to sustain the traumas, the beliefs, the things we hold on to. And just like this lady, we can't see how much it's holding us back. We have no idea. I promise you, when I did my healing, I realized I was like, holy crap, how much energy was I expending to avoid that trigger, to stay safe, to keep myself tucked away? It takes so much energy than we ever realized. And so we have to recognize these thought patterns, these beliefs, these traumas that are housed in the body. The body keeps the score. It is energetically taxing you whether you realize it or not. And again, it's a choice that we can choose to replace them, knowing that I am the creator. I am one with the source of all that is, with the abundance that is ever flowing and chasing me down every day. This limiting belief is a block, right? The limiting belief of lack, of not enoughness, of unsafety. It limits your vision and it clutters your mind. You have to ask yourself, are you ready for a miracle? Are you ready for a new life? A miracle is simply a shift in perspective, according to the Course in Miracles, right? Doors open that you never thought possible as soon as you start to open yourself to them through your perception. And you can ask the divine for a renewing of your mind, right? Undoubtedly, we have limiting beliefs. It's so fascinating how the not enoughness comes with the abundance blocks. It's almost always one for one, hand in hand, right? Those limiting beliefs around money. How often do you tell yourself, I don't have enough money. I can't afford it. It's too expensive. I can't spend that much on myself. Most people with not enoughness wounds experience this pattern, but I can promise you, it is not true. It is only your belief and your perspective that creates it. Where there is a will, there is a way. So if I promised to give you a car worth $1 million tomorrow, but you had to show up with $2,000 to get it, I bet you would find a way to make that happen. And you see what happens when we look at this with a new perspective. Oh, hell yeah, right? If you're going to give me $1 million, I can turn around and sell that. So of course I'm going to come up with $2,000 to get the million. Right? But you had the same capacity to find that $2,000 before you had the $1 million motivation. It's amazing how when we desire, do you feel like my body gets activated when I think of that example? Do you feel the power within you, right? The excitement, the butterflies, the heart pounding, like, oh yeah, let's do that, right? If you desire it enough, if you are ready, if you are fed up, if you've come to this place where you've said enough is enough, no more, I'm done with this BS, I'm getting the flip out of here, that's enough. And that's really all it takes. It didn't need the $2,000 or even the $1 million. You just needed that feeling. So we have to be careful not to let our mind control us with its lies. Our belief is everything, right? Desire. Sometimes people have negative connotations with desire and yearning, but really that is an amplification of your creative energy, as long as it's not coupled with a limiting belief of, but I can't have this. The desire and the yearning is good. You have to have the belief of, oh yes, now we're going to make it happen, right? You are the creator and you get to decide. Don't give your power away to money. Don't give your power away to the debt slavery system. Don't give your power away to a job or to a boss or to anything. I don't want to start naming things and creating things that don't exist. You are one with the divine, the source of all creation, the source of all abundance. You cannot be separate from. You are intertwined physically, energetically, emotionally, one, right? And so that means we have to start investing in our greatest asset, which is you. You deserve to invest in yourself. You are your greatest asset and your greatest resource. There is no greater place to make an investment. There is no greater return on investment. When I quit my corporate job and filed for divorce at the same time, I had no idea where the money was going to come from. But I decided to invest $20,000 in a program that would teach me how to do what I'm doing today. Miraculously, I needed less than I thought. I never went without a single thing. I had everything I needed in every single moment. And we have been provided for beautifully every step of the way. In fact, I think I've developed a belief that since money is energy, energy is infinite, because when I release money, it just makes more space for more money to be returned to me, maybe even tenfold. We always have everything we need in the end. We just have to unplug ourselves from the conditioning and programming of the world today. The real challenge here is the voice of the trauma. It doesn't let you believe that you deserve to invest in yourself. So the question is, will you let that voice win? Or are you ready for a new belief? The truth is, we cannot hold abundance in our current state, and our current beliefs do not support it. Our energy is not aligned to it. Your bank account will tell you how aligned you are to the frequency of abundance. If you're not where you want to be, we need to recalibrate. Tell a new story. Let go of the old beliefs of I can't. Money is an energy and is always coming and going. You will spend the money one way or the other. And once you do, more will come. Holding on to it and fearing it will only slow it down, and it slows the flow of abundance. So choose a new belief and choose to say, I have more than enough money. I am cared for, deeply loved, and there is always a way. Ask the divine, how can I make this work? And watch doors open for you. When you say, I can't, you build walls and blocks in front of you. When you say, I am worthy of investing in my future, investing in myself is the best investment I could make. What I put out there always comes back to me. You are becoming the decider and speaking with certainty. Abundance is my birthright. I am the one to create my dreams. Money is my friend. Together, we co-create heaven on earth. Abundance flows to me every day in many ways, in ever increasing amounts from varying accounts. When I own my God-given power and authority to co-create with the divine, thy will be done. Remain as king by asking the question, how can I make this work? Don't let that voice of fear and doubt creep in. Choose to believe in yourself and choose to remember your divinity. Choose to remember that you are one with all that is, including all abundance. It is all around you, and you just have to get out of your own way by removing the disbelief, taking back the reins of your life, and taking a moment to truly consider the truth of what you're missing out on. What is the cost of not investing in yourself? What is the cost of staying right where you are? What is the cost of being stuck? What is the cost of hermit mode? Perpetually alone in isolation. How much time and energy will you spend trying to tolerate your current state? You have to have coping mechanisms. How long will you stay where you are? How long will you continue to do the same thing over and over, expecting a different result? And what is the true cost of that? What are your dreams worth? How much would you pay to be able to step into your purpose? Know the true value and worth of fulfillment, peace, joy, happiness, freedom. Watch the mind and watch its tricks. Watch what it does to you. Notice that voice right now and give it a name. Liar Larry, trauma demon, Susan, you can't do that, right? It tells you it's not safe. People are evil. I can't handle that energy. I have to protect myself by staying tucked away. Know that these are lies. 56% of the world's population is capable of healthy attachment. That means 50%, you have a 56% chance of running into someone who is actually going to treat you well. And as within, so without. So we are attracting more of the same if we are unhealed. We attract those healthy people when we become healed. So yes, your brain has found the evidence to prove that at some point it was unsafe in the past. Your brain will find evidence of whatever you choose to believe. And yes, you probably have very strong neural pathways that support the ease of limited thinking, but that's simply the trauma filter of unworthiness speaking. Think of them like gremlins that crawl all over your brain, these little thought patterns or thought demons, right? Imagine them sitting on your shoulder, constantly chatting in your ear. Separate yourself from them because they are not you. They are not your friends, and they do not want you to live the life that you were designed to. Name that beast so that you can take your power back. Some people call it the inner critic. Like I said, I like to call it the trauma demon. Liar Larry is probably one of my favorites. But no matter what, you have to separate yourself from those lies so you can remember you are the only thing standing in your way. The divine wants you to realize your dreams. You are valuable. You are worthy. You are enough. You are perfectly imperfect for your purpose. You are your creator's favorite. You are a gift to the world just as you are. There's nothing to fix. The world needs that special gift that only you can offer. You cannot fail if you don't give up. Somewhere deep down in your soul, you know it to be true. And inevitably, the fear of I don't have enough money is part of the unworthiness wound. So refusing to comply and breaking through this belief is the first step in the healing process. This is how you show up for yourself. This is how you stop abandoning yourself. One of my favorite tips I love to share is to remain as king by asking the question, right? How can I make this work? You are powerful. You are the one creating your life, and you can create anything aligned with the divine. When you create limitation by saying, I can't, I shouldn't, or I don't have enough, you put up a brick wall between you and your goals and your dreams. When you ask the question, how can I make this happen? You open a door or a window or a portal to the answer. Just be ready to receive, listen, and the first thing that comes, that's what you listen to. Right? Everything you need is within you and is always available to you. It's just a matter of recalibration and alignment. So are you ready to reclaim your abundance birthright? Are you ready to take your power back? Truly, mind, body, soul alignment, all driving towards the goal, finally. I've seen the evidence, not only in my life, but in the work that I do every single day with my clients, day after day, client after client. There's nothing else out there like trauma spotting. This magic combination of eye movement, somatic experiencing, and energy healing is world changing. When you pair that with a like-minded community, manifestation, business strategies, marketing strategies, you are unstoppable. Abundance is inevitable. Healing trauma is a critical life skill, and it will be known globally at some point because it's impossible to live a happy life without it. This is why I developed trauma spotting through source tapping, otherwise known as the test method, is so that you can finally step into your purpose and make a living through it. It has worked for my clients, and I know it can work for you. It's not about me or this amazing system that I designed, because honestly, I can't take credit for it. It was a gift from the divine, and I am humbled to be the vessel that was chosen to channel it for you. It is the key to unlocking freedom, happiness, fulfillment, peace, everything you desire, because it is safe to trust the guidance of your desires. The divine put them on your heart for a reason. So I know we are nearing the end, or maybe even a little over our time today, but it doesn't have to be over. If you have felt the resonance of these words over the last few days, if you feel a connection with me, you feel that I've spoken your language, then I would love to continue the conversation. So I have a few options for you. I'll share them with you very quickly. The first option is near and dear to my heart, because it is sort of a response to the economic position that we are all in. Inflation is real, and I know that it is hard for everyone. So this is kind of going back to that question of, are you really ready? Are you really done with living the life that is not fulfilling your purpose and just okay, subpar? Because if you're really done, then $20 a month should be feasible, right? So for just $20 a month, I offer the first course that I ever created. I call it the Success Path. It will walk you through reprogramming your neural pathways, identifying your trauma responses, mastering that mind, body, soul alignment so that you can step into your purpose and manifest abundance. It is available through our community. It had an old name, which was confusing people. So very soon it will be renamed the Vibe Tribe. But this is where you will gain access not only to the course and the community, but also live sessions with me 3 times a month. And like I said, it's only $20 a month. So there can be no financial excuses. And this is a world-changing modality. I promise you, you will be shocked and awed in its ability to move through things that seemingly were like hungry ghosts or invisible, intangible blocks. And I'd love to be able to support you there. The second option I have is more for those of you who are already stepping into a healing journey, a healing path, wanting to be an entrepreneur or be a healer. I've called it the More Than Enough Mastermind and Trauma Spotting Certification course. So you can not only heal, but also become a healer at the same time. It is a hybrid event where you will get 2 one-on-ones with me, 8 practice healing sessions with your partner, which means you will give and receive a trauma spotting session. So you will be working on healing while also practicing your healing abilities. And the course portion of it will cover trauma 101. So what is trauma? How to identify it? What does it do to the mind and body? What is the vagus nerve? All sorts of technical detail around trauma itself. And I'll also cover the 8 most common trauma responses. If you'd like to use your 8 practice sessions to work on those 8 common trauma responses, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, you can just work on whatever comes up for you. Flowing with the flow of life is usually best. But in the 8-week course, we will cover those common trauma responses, the beliefs that come with trauma, and how to heal them within you. So it's going to be awesome. It's only $1,111 upfront, or I have a payment plan of $151 per month just for this group, just for this week alone. And then it will go up starting Monday. And then we start this one August 15th. So next Tuesday, a little less than a week from now, we are starting the next cohort. So I'm really excited. This will be done in person. We'll have live Q&As on Fridays, but you can also, you don't have to be at the Q&A on Friday. The course can be done in your own time, and then you can coordinate with your practice partner, your practice sessions whenever it works for you. So we really try to make this as flexible as possible. So like I said, the price special is for this group only and will expire Sunday evening at midnight. Monday morning, we will go up to $1,555 for the course, or for the package, right? And then finally, for those of you who are not interested in becoming a healer and really just want to work on building your own life purpose business, you want more one-on-one time with me, I have a 6-month package. This is sort of the premium package. I call it Manifesting Abundance Through Your Life Purpose Masterclass and Coaching Package. We will meet bi-weekly for 1 hour together, one-on-one, to do trauma spotting and business coaching. So like I said, the work works on you as you do the work. So the course will cover all of the things mentioned in the community course, as far as neural pathway reprogramming, trauma identification, life purpose identification. Will cover product development 101. So essentially, how do I develop my offering? How do I develop my course? How do I market? How do I sell? How do I find leads? What are some of the Facebook strategies, YouTube strategies, and TikTok strategies? And then that will also include somatic healing, inner child healing, and theta healing. And then, like I said, the one-on-one bi-weekly with me. So that's a 6-month package. And for this group, only until Sunday at midnight, the price is $2,000. I do have a payment plan for $333. Otherwise, you can contact me if this is something you're interested in. We can work something out. But that price typically is $2,500 for the 6 month. And so that will go back up on Monday. So I would love, 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 love to support you in your journey. Your purpose is my purpose. And so I am here for you. So please do reach out if you need anything or if you have any questions. I will drop some links in the group shortly for signing up. Otherwise, if you're watching this on YouTube, those links should be below. And then our homework for today, or our activity for the day, is drop a comment in the group or below this video. How has this accelerator changed your life? What was your big aha? What has shifted and changed for you? How will your life be different going forward? If you make this comment below or in the group, then I will shoot you a message with the theta healing for healing your body and abundance blocks, and just a surprise drawing for those of you who come in late or are catching up. If you comment below this video with your homework, or you have done day 1 or day 2 homework, I will do a drawing for those of you who have participated for a free one-on-one session with me. Just one. Yeah, so I look forward to seeing your comments. I will miss you, but I look forward to seeing you in one of these offerings and helping you step into your purpose. I am honored and privileged to be here to support you, and I will always send you love. Namaste, my friends.